ready for this? It's showtime. Lights, fans, action. Oh yeah, we've got action. Faster, tougher, more ferocious. There's nothing like League. This is the Betfred Super League.
Got me here. It took a big chunk out of me. Bleeding. It's bleeding. Oh no, it's bleeding. The thing just ripped my ear off. What do you think?
Hello again, everyone. Thanks for joining us once again for the best rugby league chat around right now. It's Eddie and Stevo, the podcast, here, of course, with the blessing and support of the game's major sponsors, Betfred. So there are just 4 teams left on the road to Wembley and the Challenge Cup final, a much quieter week as the oldest and most famous cup competition in the rugby league world took centre stage. So, Stevo, let's look back first at those 4 matches that whittled us down to the semi-finals. And Friday night, Catalans Dragons beat a gallant Salford side 20 points to 12, and the same score was registered at Wakefield, where the 2023 winners Leigh shook off their last 2 defeats in a row to beat Wakefield and progress to the semi-finals again. Let's take Catalan first against Salford, Stevo. A good win for Catalan, wasn't it, this?
Yeah, it certainly was. There's been a lot of speculation about the fact that the French outfit were going somewhat backwards, not bringing in a lot of their juniors to Super League level. And McNamara is still fighting down there. He realizes that they have the opportunity now. They're in the semi-finals, and it will be a huge boost for the fans in the south of France.
Definitely. And Steve McNamara revealed after the game that the Catalans paid for everything for that cup tie to be staged in Perpignan. Salford's travel costs, that's believed to be around £30,000. The match officials, the hotels, everything, he said. It didn't cost anybody else a penny. Now, I didn't realise that, I must admit. It should be pointed out, though, that this year they also pay for the travel expenses for all their Super League home fixtures as well. I mean, you know, Catalan, they really are a blessing in disguise, aren't they, for the Super League?
Yeah, of course they are. I mean, to me, it's the best success story that Super League has got. Simple as that. It's the most amazing thing that Catalans still produce. Okay, they had a bit of a wobble over the last 2 seasons, but people forget they've made the grand final. They've won at Wembley, and I'm pleased that Steve McNamara has come out and said, we're doing okay. But to think it costs them around £30,000 for hotels, etc., and flights, and it won't take long before it just eats away. Why do we want to try to get rid of a successful side?
Well, here's something, Stevo, that's going to really upset you, because there was a meeting in Batley, apparently, this past week, and it was held to discuss exactly that, the future of the sport. And from all accounts, there are fears down in the south of France that Catalan are not really wanted in Super League anymore. Now, in his post-match press conference after Friday's game, Steve McNamara is reported as saying that whatever they were talking about, we will see what the outcome is. But for him, he says there's only one solution: to strengthen the Dragons and continue to do so whatever anyone else thinks. He's right, isn't he? It's hard to argue with him. They are the best success story that Super League has had in the past 29 years.
Without a doubt. And I just cannot understand the thinking. Has rugby league gone mad in the UK? It appears to me as though we're just fighting against each other. Instead of trying to help and expand the game.
Well, It's yes, I know where you're coming from with that, but I mean, the Catalan, another trip to Wembley, possibly the third. They beat Warrington at Wembley 2018. They know in Catalan that other clubs have got their problems. And of course, Salford at the moment have more than most. The Dragons need to look after themselves, because who else will at this stage of the proceedings?
Well, you say that they held a meeting at Batley recently, okay? And it appears to me that there's either one, they didn't invite Catalan to come to the meeting, which is extremely strange, or that Catalan refused to come to the meeting because they probably knew what all the other clubs were talking about.
I think they'd have gone, Stevo. I think they'd have gone if they were invited to put their case, surely.
Well, you'd think so. But why have we got this attack on one of our successors? People forget Super League, first game, Paris.
We're into the politics of the game already this week. Let's just give a little bit of credit to Salford, shall we? Because this was a brave effort from their players after all their troubles of the recent past. A narrow defeat in the south of France to the Catalan Dragons. Well done to those players from the Salford Red Devils.
And you've got to take your hat off in regards to doing that. They showed up. It is a professional game, but I'm not so sure, Eddie, that the people who are running it are anywhere near professionalism.
Well, there's a huge inquest, if you like. There is an inquiry. Everyone's talking. Everyone's throwing their hats into the ring. Maybe that's what the Batley meeting was all about. Maybe Catalan are not really under threat. Nobody knows because nobody tells us. But, someone is having a look. Is Nigel Wood the man? Is he the man to sort all this out?
Well, the positive thing about Nigel Wood is that during his tenure of running the game, he got a massive upgrade regarding finance from Sky Television. Now, if they had that meeting and all they were talking about was saying, we've got to get rid of Catalan and also Toulouse, then to me, why have a negative meeting when it should have been the other way around?
What a turnaround, though, Stevo, back on the field in the Wakefield Leigh tie. Just a week after Leigh lost 40 points to 14 to Trinity, Adrian Lamb's men claim a 20 points to 12 victory. It was Wakefield's fourth successive home defeat. What a contrast to the away record, which shows 4 straight wins. What's going on?
Yeah, that did amaze me. But don't write Adrian Lamb off.
Oh, no, definitely not. Definitely not. He says they were under pressure after the previous week's result. He admits that Leigh had a bit of luck going their way, but he said that's rugby. And the attitude of his players was good. He was proud of his team. The attitude changed, he says, and he thought they deserved a win. So they won the Cup in 2023. They're 80 minutes away from a return to Wembley.
Well, he's got the right attitude, hasn't he? And that is rugby league. 1 week it turns on its head. Next week you come out and score 40 points and beat a top team, etc. and so forth. That's the beauty of our game. You're always in with an opportunity or a chance. And as you were saying, Salford did their best, and I think it's great that we're seeing Wakefield come as contender.
Yeah.
They've been in the doldrums for so many years. And once again, it all boils down to, Eddie, who are running the club. When you get someone who has been able to get the finance, get them sorted out, they've got a fixed stadium now, and they're on the way up, not backwards.
That's true. On the field, though, Steve, they're pretty busted right now. There's a couple of players, the Russell boys, Ollie and Matty, they're out for some time with broken bones. Jowett and Jake Truman also out. Darryl Powell says, he's confident they can still pose a challenge to other teams and they won't get beaten easily. But they've made a real impact since the return to Super League, haven't they?
Yeah, and they're confident. And look, Darryl Powell's a good coach. people forget that when he first went to Warrington, I think they won 10 on the trot. All right, they seemed to just collapse from there on in. And Warrington, they're on the up. And I'm glad that we're seeing a wonderful club like Wakefield get back in top bracket.
Very much so. Those two matches we've talked about, they were on Friday. The other two a little more attractive ties, maybe. They made it to BBC television, BBC One, BBC Two. Hull 16, Hull Kingston Rovers 32. What a performance from Rovers. The top of the table, Stevo, by 3 points, 80 minutes from Wembley. And this was achieved despite Mikey Lewis, man of steel, leaving the field with what looks like a serious groin injury. You know, fantastic for Hull Kingston Rovers. They are the team to beat at the minute.
They have shown what can be done. They started at the bottom. They knew that they were struggling at certain times a few years ago. And it's great to see that the Rovers have done that.
Yeah, well, Rovers' last Wembley win, 1980. They beat the Black and Whites that day. They're one game away from this year's final. Such a different side, Stevo, different club than that Rovers that went to Wembley in 2015 and lost 50 points to nil to Leeds Rhinos that day. What a job Willie Peters and Danny Ward are doing up there.
Yeah, great. Look, they've got the right attitude and they've gone for the right players. I'm just hoping that Michael Lewis, that the groin injury is not that serious, because he's the mainstay. He's the man.
Well, he is, but I tell you what, Jez Litton came in and played a blinder when he came on the field.
Yeah, well, he's also got great talent at Litton. There's no two ways about that. And there again, it just shows you that they're not a one-man team. You've got to have backup. You can't go through a season without picking up injuries to your star players.
The start of this podcast season, I think you said that Wigan would win the cup. Well, they might be out, but there are some former Wigan players playing a major part. First of all, in Rovers' season, Tom Davis, Oliver Gildart, Joe Burgess and Mickey McAlorum. But also, and I'm moving on now to Sunday's game, Warrington and St Helens, a fantastic game this, won by 20 points to 12 because of some magic from another Wiganer, George Williams, who won the Man of the Match award. This was Warrington's sixth straight win against St Helens, Stevo. That never happened when we were in the commentary box, did it?
No, that is for sure. And I'm sure that the St Helens fans will be saying, well, we have to do exactly the same. We have to overhaul the team. The amazing thing is, Eddie, that I can remember many, many years ago when we looked at not the first at St Helens, but we looked at the junior development outfit, and they were winning everything by a country mile. And I can remember discussing it with you many years ago, the fact that, you know, St Helens are going to be a side that's going to be hard to beat because of their development with the juniors. Fair
play. They've got some outstanding youngsters coming through with some experienced hands, they're just going through it a bit. They had that wonderful run not long ago. They were unbeatable in the Super League. They're obviously in a slight transition stage, I think.
Let's also give a lot of praise to Warrington themselves. They've sorted themselves out. Sam Burgess doing an absolute wonderful job. So much so that here in Australia, the media are still saying, he'll be back coaching in Australia, because that's what he likes. He's a hero down under with South Sydney. And so the speculation is that Burgess won't be there for a long time at Warrington. He'll be on his way back to Australia.
Well, I think he will one of these days, but I honestly believe that Sam thinks it's a 4 or 5 year project that he's got going at Warrington. I think he's here for a wee while longer yet. This is only his second season, for goodness sake.
Listen, I've got to put so much praise on Sam Burgess. And I know I'm biased because he was born and bred in my hometown, Dewsbury.
Comes from Dewsbury like you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
but look at his record, Eddie.
Well, it's second to none, and it's the second year in a row that they've knocked St Helens out of the Challenge Cup. They're hoping to return to Wembley last year, where they lost and lost badly because they really didn't turn up against Wigan. Hopefully, if they get there this time, all will change, and it'll all depend on the semi-finals. And the semi-final draw is Leigh against Warrington at St Helens and Catalan against Hull Kingston Rovers at York's LNER Community Stadium, May 10th and 11th, and the finals on June the 7th. Now, the big question that me, as your ticket tout, wants to know, will you be back and looking for a ticket for Wembley for the 7th of June, or are you staying down there in the sunshine of Australia?
YES.
Oh, I've just gone cold. I've got to make a number of phone calls again. I can see it coming. Oh, dearie Lord.
No. Listen. I'm looking forward to going to Wembley.
If you can get a ticket.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a couple of spivs down Wembley way that.
You're talking to one here.
And talking of Australia, of course, the media are still pushing the fact that Brad Arthur is homesick and he cannot wait to come back to Australia.
Really?
He's made it quite clear that in the future he'd like to take up an Australian coaching position. Is very well respected down under, and I don't know how long his contract is at Leeds, but they think he's a damn fine coach.
Well, surely he'll have to do something spectacular at Leeds to get back to a top job in the NRL, won't he?
Well, you'd think so, but when you look at a few coaches that go as an assistant coach,
yes,
how many times in the UK have we seen clubs take assistant coaches from down under? And if you look through the list, there's quite a few of them.
There is. Absolutely there is. Listen, still talking about matters Australia, some fantastic news about the Ashes series this autumn and the ticket sales. They are apparently flying off the shelves. Headingley, for the third test, already sold out. And hopefully the tickets are streaming out the door, as I say, for Wembley, the first test, and Everton, the second test. It sounds like off the field anyway, the series will be a big winner.
I can't wait. I think it's just fantastic that at long last, 23 years since we've had an Ashes series, at long last we've got an opportunity to show the other sports in the world how important the Ashes series is. And I applaud the International Federation for making it happen.
Yeah, it's great news. It is.
And it was pleasing to say Leeds, Headingley, sold out. How good is that?
Brilliant.
You'll get people, even myself, I sort of raised an eyebrow and thought, well, couldn't they have taken it to Ellen Road, where they could have sold more tickets?
Oh, I think Headingley's a better venue than Ellen Road, Stevo. I do, honestly. I really do.
Yeah, I don't know. For the game itself, I think they've got a better opportunity to perhaps pick up another Ashes win. The last time we won was in 1970.
Yes, I know.
That's a long time ago, Eddie.
Yeah, it is. And Sean Wayne has said this week, Stevo, he will be the proudest of Englishmen if he can coach a series success. I think I can think of at least two more Englishmen who'll be very proud if we manage it, you and I, because I in the Wigan programme, the day that I packed in, I've got it here. It says, the only regret would be I haven't called an Ashes winning series. That's the one miss we had in our glittering careers.
Hang on, Eddie. I'm sure I have a hanky somewhere. This is bringing. I'm filling up. Yeah, dearie me today. Anyway,
I'm filling up as well. I think you and I should put a bid in to be there at Headingley. If it's going to be an Ashes winning, a Ashes decider, you and I should put a bid in to be there.
Well, I'm hoping that you can arrange some
here
tickets.
Here we go again. Honestly.
Listen, before we go, Eddie, I must say that most people realise that this Manly situation with their captain Cherry Evans, they played awful against Melbourne over the weekend, and Dale Cherry Evans had a very, very average game. And of course, all the fans and all the media have got on the back saying the club's going backwards now. They didn't play well. Their defence was probably the worst display from a Manly side in many, many years. I'm taking nothing away from Melbourne. I mean, they were just outstanding. Manly came back, scored 2 late tries to make the scoreline look a little bit better than what it was, but they were just absolutely taken apart by the Melbourne outfit. So once again, the wonderful media that we have in Down Under, they're not shy in pointing the finger or kicking people up the backside.
Sounds like it.
But I suppose that's what the media's all about. Which don't get. Don't get in the UK.
I was about to say that. At least it's in the papers and at least it's being talked about. It's a little bit shy in this part of the world, as you well know. But we will talk about it in another 7 days' time. We will be hot on the trail of all the controversy again, and we'll have a look back at what goes on in the Super League this coming weekend. Always good to talk to you. And obviously, the pork chop and bottle of Guinness work wonders. You sound a lot better this week.
I don't really think I should comment about that, but I am feeling a little bit better.
Good. Enough said. Oh, hello, there it is. There it is. He's got the coughing going again. We better leave you while you pass out. We'll talk to you next week. All right, see you, Stevo.
See you, top man.